All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to today's explainer. Now, normally we unpack vast data sets or, sprawling historical events, but today we're doing something completely different. We're going to slow right down. We're going to look at the chronological anatomy of a deeply intimate and honestly incredibly painful parting moment. We're dissecting a timeline that lasts literally less than 3 minutes, but it carries the weight of an entire lifetime. Let's really look at how a final farewell is constructed second by devastating second.
And the journey here, it doesn't even begin with an action. It starts with this lingering, agonizing state of suspense. The last message was still waiting for me. I mean, think about the incredible emotional weight wrapped up in an unopened message. It's like a digital artifact just frozen in time. Because as long as it sits there unopened, the finality hasn't actually arrived yet, right? The anticipation itself is incredibly heavy. It's almost suffocating.
Then we see the physical reality of that grief hit right away. We aren't just talking about some abstract sadness here. We're looking at an intense, full-body physiological reaction. Hands shaking, the phone being physically pulled from a box, which is a detail that tells us time has passed, this device was put away, hidden from daily life, and then the screen lights up. Just one unread message from her.
Now, if we look at this timeline, you can see exactly how this builds. This is literally the anatomy of a moment. Check out the timestamps here. 0 minutes, the discovery. 45 seconds in, the decision to open. And at 1 minute and 46 seconds, the breaking point. We're mapping out the exact painful progression of an emotional breakdown. This isn't a timeline spanning months or years of a fading relationship. No, this is the condensed, hyper-focused reality of less than 2 minutes that completely changes everything forever.
Which brings us to part 1, the heavy silence, that agonizing hesitation.
So the absolutely crucial thing to understand here is the why behind the delay. It takes 45 seconds just to tap the screen. Why? Well, it's because of the profound, paralyzing grief of realization. Tapping that screen triggers the very last communication you will ever receive from this person. Once you read it, there are no more new words. The silence that follows is going to be permanent. Opening the message isn't just reading text. It's stepping over a threshold into a world where she is truly gone.
If you're reading this, then I'm already gone. Let's just sit with that for a second. This is the devastating reality of a message sent from beyond the present moment. It's literally a ghost speaking through the screen. The sender has intentionally set a condition that ensures they won't even be there to witness you receiving their words.
And the physical toll of an opening line like that, it's immediate and it's total. As the source material outlines, the tears start falling before the message can even be completely processed. Your brain registers the context, "I'm already gone," and your body just gives out. The cognitive understanding of the loss completely outpaces the actual reading of the words on the screen.
Moving into part 2, the final words, a conscious choice.
Here we're seeing a really conscious, deliberate choice being made. I didn't want you to remember me like that, weak, broken, slowly fading away. The sender is taking complete control of their own narrative at the very end. They're acutely aware of their physical decline, and they're making this incredibly difficult decision to sever the connection early. And they're doing it specifically to prevent that decline from becoming the final memory.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates what is, at its core, an act of deep, sacrificial love. So I chose this instead, to leave you with the version of me that smiled the most around you. Think about that. The sender is choosing their own absence. They're choosing to walk into the dark alone, specifically so the person they love gets to keep a mental image of joy. It's this heartbreaking attempt to protect them from the trauma of watching them fade.
But then, look at this stark contrast here. We just talked about the beautiful, protective intention behind her words, yet the actual reality experienced on the other side is agonizing. Couldn't breathe. Every word felt like it was breaking him. The intention was to leave a smile, right? But the delivery mechanism, a posthumous digital message, ends up creating this suffocating, world-breaking grief. This brings us to part 3, the ultimate confession, the vulnerability of it all.
I loved you more than I ever showed. The sheer vulnerability of this admission is just staggering. In the absolute final moments of connection, all the walls are completely dropped. It's this raw acknowledgement of a love that maybe couldn't be fully expressed in life, and now it's finally being voiced when it's just too late to be reciprocated in person.
And this creates such a tragic paradox, and that's why I had to let you go. The love itself becomes the exact mechanism, the literal reason for the separation. She didn't leave because the love faded. She left because the love was so incredibly strong that she couldn't bear to inflict her pain upon him. Not because I wanted to, but because I didn't have a choice. You can almost hear the emotional collapse there. It's a complete surrender to a reality that they just couldn't fight anymore. It strips away any illusion of agency. This wasn't a choice of the heart. It was a cruel, unavoidable mandate of circumstance.
Part 4. The haunting aftermath. The hollow reality.
Goodbye.
Notice the absolute finality of this single word. There's no see you later. There's no until next time, just the quiet, heavy echo of the end. Let the silence of that single word just sit there for a moment.
And then, just a final whisper from the departed. Please don't wait for me. And this is perhaps the kindest yet cruelest thing she could possibly say. It strips away any lingering, desperate hope that he might have been holding on to. It's a direct instruction to move on, but it's delivered by the very person who is making moving on feel completely impossible.
Then, the stark, cold facts set in. The technology simply shuts off. The screen went dark. No more messages, no more her. The light of the phone extinguishing perfectly mirrors the end of the life and the permanent severing of that physical connection. The battery dies, the screen locks, and you're left entirely alone in the room.
So, what's the real takeaway here? It all builds to this profound, incredibly tragic summary. Some goodbyes are never meant to be said in person. It totally challenges our conventional need for face-to-face closure, doesn't it? It reveals this heartbreaking reality that sometimes the most profound acts of love and letting go happen in total isolation, with closure delivered silently, alone, through the cold glass of a screen.
Which leaves us with one final, provocative thought to carry with you. The message is over, the screen is dark, the end. Or is it?